So tell us your story like only you do. We're on the same team of dreamers, a happy, scrappy group of believers. So come, play a part. There's room for mistakes and messes and art. Who cares if there's not many takers? We're doing it for the makers.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the For the Makers podcast. I hope that you are doing so well. It is a tad dreary and rainy outside for us today.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that your day is bright and sunny.
Yeah. And if it's not, that's these
okay
showers
too.
bring,
Fall flowers.
or winter, depending on when this comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
You guys, it's been a long day.
It's been a great day.
Such a good day. So many great conversations.
Really solid.
Yeah. And you guys, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
We got a stacked lineup for season 3.
We really do.
And you guys, I just wanted to put myself again out there and introduce us, if you will. My name is Leah Beth Etheridge. I'm one of the hosts for this podcast, for the podcast you are currently listening to. It is the For the Makers podcast. And it comes out every
Second and fourth Friday. Read my lips of the month.
Because you clap on the 2 and the 4.
Not on the 1 and the 3.
Heyo. And I'm here with my incredible co-host, the one, the only,
Rachel Gifford. I almost just whacked my face onto this microphone. That would have been really nice for you to hear.
just a big smack.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to stop talking and we're going to introduce our wonderful, wonderful guest.
She's laughing.
When I am telling you, I
Because-
love this woman so much.
She is just so gracious and joy-filled.
Amen.
I just love this woman. Today on the podcast, we have Annell Moya, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little cold read of her bio.
Go for it, Ray.
All right. Annell Moya is a singer, songwriter, and actress from Cape Town that currently resides in the USA. She is an AMDA graduate with a BFA, and she has since she's been featured in Galley theater productions such as Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, Rapunzel, and many more. With having a passion for music, Annell has since gone on to release her debut single, Heartbreak Before Love, in March 2023, which has since received support from publications such as Hype Magazine, IOL, and many more. The single serves as the lead single to her forthcoming EP, Now, Not Yet, which can be expected in late 2023. Y'all, Annell Moya, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you guys for having me. This is very loca. This is very crazy.
This is well, we're so glad that you're here. I mean, truly, we've been looking forward to having you on the podcast for a long time.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm crying on the inside, but then it's going to come on the outside.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Now, not yet.
Now, not yet.
And can I just say how excited I am for your EP?
Thank you.
Like, I mean, it's just, you are amazing. You're an amazing individual, but to see that come out in your art is just such a gift.
Thank you.
And we've gotten to collaborate just a teensy tiny bit.
Yes.
A lot of people, we did a reading of Le Joie together. Or was it did we do the sizzle reel for it together?
We did the sizzle reel, but also that day was just like such a beautiful day of just like meeting new people. And then I was like, oh, Rachel's here.
Yeah. And then I was like, wait, I know this person. Yeah. Just the best ever. Anyway.
It was great.
Yeah. How did you know Annell from The Hang?
I know Annell from
Well,
The
I
Hang.
know you from The Hang too.
I can even remember the day that I met you. I came
Really?
in and I was like a deer in headlights. And immediately we're like, hi, friend. And you just
Oh, that sounds accurate.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the time where I think Annell and I's friendship really was solidified is we went to coffee randomly one day and we talked for like almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just about life, about art, about all different kinds of stuff. And it was, it goes down in my head as like one of my favorite like random coffee experiences ever.
Yes.
And then getting to know Annell just over this past year especially has been so much fun. And she's such a great champion of art and incredible artist herself. Go listen to her single, you guys.
Yeah. Heartbreak Before Love.
It's
Thanks,
so
y'all.
good. It's so good.
Heartbreak.
Another
Yeah,
one
I
is
can
coming out. My mom says I'm going to stop singing it now.
Your mom's like, please.
She goes, oh, Heartbreak. Yes, we get it, babes. Let's move on. And I'm like,
Get it, babes.
relax.
You're like, Mom, come on.
Wait, I love that. Okay. Oh, so I'm so sorry.
No, please.
We were
You're
both
great.
like
You're great.
excited to jump in.
We were.
I love the excitement.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, because Annell, you're an actor, singer, singer-songwriter. How did you get into the arts?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I have to go all the way back to my family.
Yeah.
Because like we are very musical in terms of like we love music, and then my sister is a musician as well, and she's also releasing her first single
come on.
next week Friday.
Oh my gosh.
So big ups to her. I love her.
Yes.
But like my oldest brother, he loves like R&B, like 90s R&B and jazz. And then my mom, gospel, my brother, alternative rock. And then my sister also R&B. And then at the time, like 2000s. And I think all of that molded me to also love music and find music myself.
Yeah.
And I thought that I always wanted to be a singer first.
Yeah.
And, also my sister wanted to be a singer. So I was kind of following her footsteps.
Sure.
Kind of still am.
Yeah.
But I started to find like folk music and different types of like just really honest, authentic music. And I was like, okay, maybe this is my lane. But I didn't know what to call it. And honestly, I still don't know what my music is called.
Sure.
But in high school, I found drama.
Yeah.
And I did my first musical, which was The Little Mermaid.
Come on.
And I was like pretty happy to be the first Black mermaid.
Yes. Come on.
I'm like, sorry to Hallie, but like
Listen, but
Annell did it first.
Yeah.
I kind of no. Don't say that out on the record. Listen, I might be sued, but listen, I'm gonna say I am so happy that that came out.
Yeah.
So the little kids could see that
Yeah.
on TV. It was very new to me at the time, but I was like, whoa, I can sing and act and dance and do this and love this so much.
Yeah.
I found such a connection with like acting and all that. So I, started to pursue it in high school, but it wasn't the ultimate dream, but at the same time, there was no ultimate dream.
Yeah.
And then I think near my senior year, I started to look up schools, and everybody's like looking up schools in South Africa. There's nothing wrong with South African schools. At the time, I just couldn't find musical theater schools.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe I do New York.
Yeah.
All right, typing like click click click.
Those are really
Right?
good sound effects.
And and I found AMDA, and I told my mom, I'm like, listen, they have a really great musical theater program. I might want to apply.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, cool. If you want to do New York, you do New York. So you apply to Juilliard first, and then AMDA. I'm like, fine, bring it on.
Mom, yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Let's go.
Got rejected.
Yeah.
I would say, of course, but like they're very prestigious. Okay.
Yeah.
The competition, yeah. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
I would have picked you, I know.
Yeah, truly.
I just have to say that for the record.
Tear.
Yeah.
but I mean, I got the rejection letter, and I was like so calm, and I
Yeah.
said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Next up, AMDA.
Yep.
So I applied, and I came here. I was just like, maybe it'll be a better chance to audition here.
Yeah.
And I was like so enchanted. So I was so enchanted, and I felt so comfortable at the same time, having no help at all.
Yeah.
I barely knew any other monologues. What I did was probably like the most, one of those, what's that monologue that's like, my something about divorce papers. I ate my divorce papers.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
It wasn't that, but it was like as common as that.
Yeah.
That's how badly I did not know anything about monologues. And I sang, all I ever needed was the music in the mirror.
Yeah. Music in the mirror.
Yes. And I was scared that they're gonna ask me to dance. I was like, okay, buddy, that's all I got.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I got accepted on my birthday, and I came and like I was like, okay, cool, this is the dream.
Yeah.
I don't picture myself doing anything else. And then of course COVID happened. But it taught me to not just like love it with everybody else around, but to love it for myself.
Yeah.
And I really did fall in love with musicals and music in general. And it gave me a chance so that when I came back, it really meant something, and I was doing it with God.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, you know, ever since then, I've just been more honest with my work. And then, you know, God's kind of been giving me some music to also release to be more honest and vulnerable. Yay!
We love it.
We love it.
Yeah.
But it's been truly, truly a blessing. And now, like, I thought that my music career was going to come after my acting career.
Yeah.
And now it's coming in between. And I was like, oh, I mean, that goes to show you don't plan everything at all.
Right.
I can't plan like, these first 5 years, I'm going to be on Broadway.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and I really did think like,
Yeah.
not to say that I won't be on Broadway because we never know when Jesus
right.
but I really just thought that I could like kind of compartmentalize everything.
Yeah.
And everything has kind of been in between and messy and beautiful at the same time. And I'm having all these experiences. So I'm having my acting career and my music career right next to each other. I don't know how it merges.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're like
We'll see.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Blindly. Yeah.
Do you find it difficult, like week to week, month to month, day to day, to like go back and forth between like writer hat and actor hat and singer? Like, how does that look for you in your like just everyday life?
Yeah, it does. It is hard, but at the same time, my writing experience, I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but my writing experience is very different. I don't sit down and say, now I'm going to write. I will sit down when I have something to kind of, you know, rearrange or find something new. But it always comes in a weird random time that I get something. And that's why I can say that my music, although I sing it and it is mine, it's not technically mine. It feels like, you know, dropped.
Yeah.
Heavenly dropped.
Yeah.
And it always tells me something about myself that I don't know yet, or something that I need to tell myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my writing experience is very random. So it comes like, I would say every 2 weeks, something new comes. But then at the same time, I can't force it. I can't do anything to kind of speed it up. I really have to work with God,
Right.
on how to say like, okay, I don't want to make this sound so poetic and,
Right.
you know, force this out. So I always have to work with God with that. And that takes time. And then also auditioning is like its own art form.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know, I've only now started to get back into auditioning now that the visa kicked in, and I'm like, woohoo!
Heyo.
But just going to auditions in person again, I remember I was like shaking, like holding my paper, like shaking my hand, and I was like, breathe. And I kind of have to hold them gracefully
Yeah.
as they come. But then also the auditions don't come as often as I would
Yeah.
like them to.
Yeah.
So that's why I teach in the meantime, and
Yeah.
I just like try to maneuver my writing and auditioning life.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Were you always that way with writing where like every 2 weeks you would just kind of like, you kind of had to write?
I mean, I journal now, and I used to write poetry as a kid consistently.
Wow. As a kid, poetry.
Yeah, in high school. Oh, they were all sad girl poems.
Love that. Yeah.
But they were very, like, they surprised me. I went back and I wrote about my old boots that I used to love, and they kind of got scuffed at the front, and I compared them to one of my good friends. Listen, I just said that really badly, but listen. But I loved those boots, and I loved my friend.
Yeah.
And she saw a huge imperfection, you know, just like everybody saw an imperfection in my boots of like, oh, those are beautiful boots, but what did you do in the front? Right? And I found like a correlation of like her scars and then the scars on my shoes.
Wow.
And I was like, you were 15, girl?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, really.
So like I wrote consistently then, but now it's like I have to journal like every 2 days, and something does come out of that a lot because I do hide, not intentionally, but there's a lot that happens in my subconscious that I just need to just like word vomit. So because of that, that does allow me to open my mind, and then for something to just kind of drop and kind of click.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the next week, I'm like, oh, that's what I was writing about. Let's try put that in song, right? So yeah, that's kind of.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's a really cool, like, it's a process that holds both like kind of this structure to it, because there's always structure to writing, even if it doesn't seem like there is. But then it's also a process that's like so open and surrendered to like inspiration.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
How does that compare to your writing style,
Yeah.
Rach?
Oh gosh. I would say not as, I haven't gotten as maybe good of a handle on like how to get all of the other stuff in my brain out of the way so that I can get to the thing that I'm actually feeling to like write. But I am similar in the sense of like, I don't really sit down to like write like with structure. I do every once in a while. I have done that, and I have written things that I like out of that time, but I do prefer to just go off of like feeling really inspired. Yeah. Lauren Graham, she's an actor and writer. She has this thing that she calls the kitchen timer technique. Ooh. And she's like a novelist and essayist, and she will literally just using her kitchen timer, but she'll have 2 pages pulled up on her computer, and the dealio is that she cannot have her phone with her, and that she has 2 pages up, and one of them is the thing that she's supposed to be writing, and the other one can be whatever the heck she wants it to be. So it's like a brain dump page. So if she's sitting there and she like cannot focus, she can like basically like word vomit or like stream of consciousness on this other work doc, and then she'll shift back to the thing that she's supposed to be working on. And if other like intrusive thoughts come up that she's like, I gotta get this out, then she'll like write it down. So like maybe it's like bullet points of like, oh, what she has to do for the rest of the day or something like that. But she like always has those 2 pages pulled up, and then she has to work until the kitchen timer goes off.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
That is really great.
I'm like, see, that's structure that I do have, and discipline that I don't have yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I do think it's cool. Like, art oftentimes lives in the in-between of structure and fluidity. And I think that I marvel at my friends, 2 of them being the girls sitting in front of me, but who write music, or because I feel like music or poetry even sits perfectly in the middle of that, because it has to have some sort of structure, because there is melodic lines and notes, and like it has to have a beginning, middle, end. Sometimes there's a very clear chorus, you know, or like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, you know, like very structured way of producing the art. But in how the words that you use, the metaphors you use, the way that the melodic lines, the music informs the lyrics, all of those different things have to be, as Rach just said, surrendered to inspiration, or else it's gonna feel robotic. Yeah. And I think that I just marvel at people who can create beautiful music on their own. that lives perfectly within that structure. Because it's difficult. It's so hard. But it is, I mean, so inspiring for people. That's for freaking sure. Both y'all are superstars.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway. What, Rach?
I was just going to move on.
I was about to say, next question.
Yeah. Because I'm curious. Yeah. Why do you think that art is important, Annell?
Art in general?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Or you can go more specific if you want to go more like music or drama.
No, I mean, all of it. I think at a time, and still now, there is drama and a need for theater, a need for musicals, and then sometimes there's a need for music and expressing yourself through music, in my opinion, like in my life. But in general, like, it's another source of communication.
Yeah.
We have different like sources of communication. There's coding, there's, I don't know, when you're an architect, there's different ways to like symbols to communicate what this is. Art is exactly the same.
Wow.
But like, maybe because we have so much barriers and things to kind of close off certain things in our minds created by society or by your family or by the place where you live, it's not as easy to say it, and sometimes you don't have the language for it, right? So you start describing it with your art, like drawing it, or you start describing it in your writing, when you're writing a play or something, and you maybe don't know what the end picture is until you're finished, and you look at it and you're like, oh, I'm basically talking about mental health.
Right.
Right. Like, it all is a source of communication, whether you start off knowing this or you finish and you end it and you're like, oh, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So those people who don't have different minds of architectural or coding, coding is a world.
Yeah.
But like those people who just don't have those minds and want to describe things differently and want to express something, art is that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's extremely important. Even the 3-year-olds I teach,
right?
Like we had shakers today, and like, we're shaking them with rhythm, and even that to them is something like, it's expressive, whether it's expressive in their body or when they're singing something, it's still creating a sense of like, this is how I express myself.
Right.
And if I want to express myself with a shaker, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a communication tool, and it's so needed, even if we're doing fan kicks on stage.
Right.
On Broadway.
Right.
With a lot of pyrotechnics.
Totally.
With like fire.
Fire,
And lights and projections.
30 dancers on stage simultaneously. Form of communication.
Yeah. Oh, I love the simplicity of that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. When you said it's a form of communication, I immediately got chills on my arms.
Dope.
Because like there is, I think that we as artists, we value what we do so much, and there's so much weight that we put on it. And I was watching an interview with Denzel the other day, one of the greats. And he was like, people ask me all the time, like, if it's hard to do a movie. And he was like, it's just a movie. He goes, going to war is hard. He was like, being alone is hard. Doing these things are hard, but it's just a movie. And so when you said it's just communication, I was like, sheesh. I was like, you're right. It is. It's just another form of communication, and an effective one to tons of different people, because it's communicating something, whatever that art piece is trying to say, to a group of people all at once. So like if we're going to a museum, all three of us can stand and look at the same piece of art, and it's going to communicate to us something. Now, what you get versus what Rach gets versus what I get might be different, but we're all having communication with this one piece all at the same time. And it's the same thing with the 30 girls with the pyrotechnic, kicking their face.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to communicate to us something, whether that's joy, whether that's excitement, whether that's a little bit of escapism, never hurt nobody, like, whatever that may be. All of us can sit in a room together experiencing a piece of art and come out of it having received some sort of message.
Yeah.
Which is such a beautiful way to say that. I know. It's just communication.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Love that. So in like our artistic lives, it can feel not so simple sometimes.
Yeah.
So as that happens, how do you stay grounded as a human?
As a human.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it is, but I love to take my shoes off, go to Central Park or any park, and just touch grass.
Yes.
Listen, man, there's something in that. There's something in that. I think during COVID, which I probably hated the most being home after being like so amped up and like starting my acting career and starting school. I was in my 3rd semester at the time, and then it all cut short. So I was 6 hours ahead.
Wow.
And, doing acting classes at like 1 a.m.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. So being stuck at home with my mom is the greatest. But when you're stuck there.
Yeah.
It gets tough.
Yeah.
But she loves gardening. And sometimes she'd be like, come out to the garden with me. Like, here's a hose and, I'll just fiddle with the plants or whatever. And then she would see like a rainbow in the water between. And she was just like, look, God is here already. No. And she would talk about like how God is present in all like types of nature and she can see it at every moment.
Wow.
And I just loved seeing God in nature with her. And I think that's one of the things that I probably needed to learn before going back to America by myself.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. I think when I just see nature, I'm just so reminded of God, and that really grounds me of like, it's kind of, the life of an artist. I'm thinking about, I need to release the song. No, there's an audition then. No, I need to do like my survival job. And when I go and sit down on grass, take my shoes off and my socks off, and I touch grass and I look up to the sky, it kind of reminds me of like, whoa, like these things are blessings.
Right.
Right. And just be here with me right now. And that is the most grounding thing. And if I don't have, time to go to the park, sometimes I walk past a tree and I touch it. I don't know. It's the smallest things that it has to be kind of physical for me to kind of like wake up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And also like New York is so fast paced.
Right.
So immediately come from work, go to this, go to that, make dinner, then you can rest inside your very small apartment.
Right. Inside your shoebox.
Inside your shoebox.
Yeah.
And you don't remember to take a walk, and you don't remember to feed your body and fresh air, or just to not think about anything.
Yeah.
So I need things that are kind of physical. And then if I don't get to do that, I definitely journal. I journal on my fire escape or in my bed. But like, it has to be kind of like, hey, today I did this.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
There's something about, we were just talking with John Reed about embodiment and like embodied like activity. So like there's something to what you're saying of just like touching the ground beneath you and touching the trees, because those things are like rooted in the earth.
Right.
And that's when we are especially here in New York when it's like overstimulating every day, all day. And we have these little screens that we carry around with us all the time, like reminding us of anything and everything. And it's like the social media, like when you're, I don't know if we all feel this way, but like when you're following a bunch of other artists, you can so easily fall into the comparison game, or you can fall into, even if you're not comparing, but you're taking in so much information all the time about what other people are doing, but you're not actually in an embodied space with them.
Yeah. Right.
And so it's just like this really strange thing. So it makes total sense to me. And I think that there's actually a lot of science to back that. I just don't know it. But the, of like having to be in nature. I do know that there's such thing as forest bathing. Have you heard of that?
What?
It's like literally going and just sitting in a forest. And there's like grounding effects of that.
Just
sitting amongst trees.
I want a forest babe.
I know. I'm like,
look
where's
it up.
the
That's like the
forest?
actual term is
Wait,
forest
are there
bathing.
animals in the forest? Yo.
She said, are there animals in the forest?
I said, wait a minute.
Central Park, I think, could count because you're like in the middle of a bunch of trees.
Does it count as a forest?
Please, can it count?
I mean, that's the term. It doesn't count as a forest, but forest bathing.
And it's Annell speaking. Can we make Central Park a forest?
Please.
I don't wanna, come across a mountain lion.
Yeah, no.
A coyote.
Yeah, no. Get out of here with that.
Listen,
Yeah, to all you scientists out there listening to this
gentle listeners that are scientists listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I joke with our friend Sophie Agnon, friend of the podcast, just Sophie Agnon. I joke with her all the time about touching grass because she's really, like, she loves to take off her shoes and go stand in grass.
Oh, that's who I was thinking about. I was
And-
like, who was I just talking to about this?
And there's this like term now that's kind of thrown around on social media. It's kind of like a whatever. It's like when people are being mean or people are being whatever, you're like, oh, go touch grass. It's like, get out of your head and like go put your feet on some grass. Like, stop being that way.
No way. That's a thing.
And which I low-key think is hilarious.
in my head,
Go
I'm
touch
thinking,
grass.
I'm gonna start using that. Not to insult people, but like to be like, oh, can go touch grass.
Go touch
Like,
grass.
You're
You're
kidding.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like that's so funny. I'm like, people are like, shut up, go touch grass. But I think that there is like, we as human beings, even just like in society today, like our feet were made to touch the earth. And like we walk around with shoes on all day for our protection, right? But at some point, there's something to us physically touching the ground, soil, dirt, grass, trees. There is something to that connects us more to our original state of being. And that sounded so like our original state of being, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so I think that is like, I love that you said that. And then journaling, I love that you said journaling because I think through our cell phones, like Rach was talking about, and through all these things, we are getting constantly inundated with information. And so much so that I honestly don't think humans were created to know as much as we do, like as far as information goes.
Right.
So like, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, even further back than that, 30 years ago, like you would only know what was going on within your like little
Small
intimate community, which in some ways is really good because it allows for focus like on that particular community and bettering that particular community, and intimacy within that community. But I think that lots of times we as humans, we want to be in control of everything. So because of that, we want to ingest all the information.
Everything.
Because we're like, if we know everything, then I'll be in control of everything. When in reality, it's like, it actually makes us realize how not in control we are of everything. So being able to like put things down on paper and be like, this is what I did today. This is how I moved. These are the thoughts that I have on that helps us recognize like, it almost, at least it does for me, sometimes it helps me reorder my life.
Right.
And be like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all of this stuff, like tomorrow is a new day. Like these things will go away. These things I learned. These things are good. These things are not. Whereas like lots of times we just hold on to that stuff and we just carry it into the next day when it's like, ooh, you gotta get rid of some of that.
That too, of like, because we have so much stacked in our day, or if not, you know, just living in the city and just living in life in general, there's a lot of things that you don't say, a lot of things of you don't say rather than the things that you do. Right. So there's a lot of pent up things, whether it's like things that are chill or things that are actually really heavy. Yeah. So that's why like journaling at the end of the day is like so crucial for me. And if I don't journal at the end of the day, I know it's tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. Because there's so many things that kind of pile up when you don't say that come out in different ways in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just thinking, should I title this episode Annell Moya on something and touching grass?
And quotes, go touch grass.
Go touch grass.
I just love it. Annell, okay.
Annell, you're such a tree hugger.
Girl, ain't nothing wrong with hugging a tree.
I know.
Gosh. Every time when I go home, so as a little side note, I grew up in Texas, and every time I go home, my dad always makes the exact same joke. He picks me up in his truck. We get in his truck and he goes, LB, look up. That's called a sky. And he goes, look at that. That's called a tree. He's like, you don't see many of those, do you? And I'm like, okay, first of all, haha, very funny. We've heard this joke many, many times. I get it. I live in New York. You live in the country. Whoop, big whoop. Yeah. But like, there is something to be said about acknowledging like, oh yeah, sometimes I don't look up nearly as much as enough. Like actually take my feet off of the ground or off of my cell phone. True. And just like look up at the sky.
Honestly, we're scared to step and poop.
Fair. Fair. And with that being said, question number 4.
It's so true.
With that being said.
And I said it so seriously. I was scared to step and poop.
I mean, you're
that
right.
Is so
you're
funny
right.
because I was about to say, I feel like for a while I was like, I'm not going to look up because all of the tourists in New York are looking up all the time.
Right.
Right. But now I'm like, forget that. I'm going to look up. But then you step and poop. And then you're
it's
like,
just bad for the rest of the day.
This is why I don't look up. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Question 4, LB.
That is also a film. Don't look up. Anyway, what person, place, or experience has shaped you the most creatively,
Person, place, or experience has shaped me creatively. Ooh. Okay. Person, place, or experience. This one's a hard one, y'all.
I know.
I think. Whew. Okay.
It is a tricky one.
It's a loaded one. I think
we get a very big variety.
Yeah, massive variety of answers.
Okay. Definitely. I think because what drew me into theater was to make people as happy as I felt when I was watching, And one of my answers when I was like starting out, I was like, I just want to give people joy. And I think as I was like, 20, 21, I think only then was I really understanding who God is for me, because I always grew up believing in God, but like I was kind of piggybacking off of my mom, and I started to understand who God was for me, and I'm like, okay, what is this joy that I talk about? And I think God has definitely shaped me in my experience creatively, because everything I now do is coming out of that. And when it doesn't, it feels false. It feels inauthentic. Yeah. And experience-wise, maybe how I view love in general has shaped even like how I make my music now and how truthful I am about it. Yeah. I was very much like a hopeless romantic. Every day is a romantic movie. I definitely top 2 of my favorite movies are romantic movies, and they're not that great. Let's just say that out there. But
Those better be your answer to question 5.
oh, jeez. But yeah, I think how I viewed love and currently do definitely shapes how I write creatively, and you can see it in my work, and it's still sparking a curiosity in my past and the things that I blocked out. Right. So yeah, this one is a hard question.
Those are really good answers, and honestly, I appreciate those are almost like more like concepts of like what shapes you. Well, yeah, not concepts, but ideas, thoughts that shape you, beliefs that shape you. And I think that those are experiences in and of themselves, you know, and they're very powerful. So
And
I appreciate that.
Oftentimes I think it's the experiences we have or the people we encounter are underneath them are the beliefs and the values and the things that actually shape us. So it's like if you experience somebody who, you know, gives you, exemplifies true love or what you perceive to be love, then it's like, okay, well then love is what shaped me through that person, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Or like if you know, your experience with God and how he shaped your heart and shaped your life, like that, it through him you've been creatively shaped. So it's like there is a level of, I appreciate how you took the question and went a level deeper. You didn't just
exactly.
say, like you didn't just say, oh, you know, this person or this place that I went. It's like, oh, okay, what shaped you is joy, love, and God. Those are like deep things, which I love.
Exactly.
That. I love it.
Exactly.
It was hard to think of like a place because I'm thinking like all these different places, and especially New York is definitely a place that shaped me creatively. But I sometimes did idolize New York as the thing. So it shaped me creatively, but I had to think like what's underneath that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, so good. All
Okay,
right.
our last and final question, Annell. What book, play, or film do you think every person should read or watch?
Oh, jeez. Is this what you wanted? One of my romantic movies? Okay.
They don't have to be the answer to this question. I just thought it was funny.
Okay. Movie, which I found I rated it a very high 8 that I watched recently. And it's called No, don't forget it.
Is it a new movie?
Yes, it is a new movie. Poetic Society.
Is it Dead Poets Society?
No.
Okay, that's me.
We were just talking about that, which is why I was like on the...
No,
front of
it's
the brain.
basic. Oh man, I probably have to think of another one because I forgot the name of it. I will describe it.
Okay,
It's,
Here we
about
go.
an Indian family in the UK, and the older sister is, struggling through her artist life and thinking if she really is an artist. So she's in a really depressive state, and her little sister loves stunting and wants to be a stunt woman.
Yeah.
They kind of support each other until a person comes knocking at the big sister's door and starts dating her. And then it's kind of like a ninja movie, but then it goes back to reality. So you don't really know what is real and what's not real. And
Ooh,
yes,
love that.
and it's very comical, but they do it in a very beautiful way and very comical way. So I don't know, I rated it very high, and they did a really beautiful job incorporating their culture so naturally, not kind of saying, this is the culture, but just in it, through it. So that And then one of my favorite movies is called Something Borrowed.
I love that movie.
If anybody
It's so
hears
true.
me,
It's like-
I've got better taste, please. I know. I love
exactly what you
Inception
mean.
and every Christopher Nolan movie. But right now, Something Borrowed lives in my heart. And if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it just for the sake of Annell Moya.
I love you, and I love that you just said that movie because it's true. I feel such deep feelings when I watch that movie, but it is not the world's greatest movie.
No, it's not.
In fact, it's like
Mediocre.
mediocre.
Oh my gosh.
But
It's
like all the
mediocre.
feels.
But all the feels, the acting.
I don't know.
Was not that great. But like, no. It was good. But like that part where Kate Hudson's like, Rachel.
Yes.
I'm like, guys, put me up, sign me
That was
up.
actually a really good Kate Hudson impression.
I did the entire movie.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to get together and watch that because I love that. Oh my gosh. And now we're so grateful that you came on our podcast.
We love you so
Oh my
much.
gosh, I love you guys.
Where can people like follow your creative career just to keep up with music and everything that you're doing?
Yes. Okay, so Instagram's my main, and it's just Annell Moya, ANNELLMOYA, and that's also Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I need to up Facebook because
No,
nobody
you really
cares about
don't.
Facebook, but apparently marketing does. So
Got it. Oh,
Facebook,
good to know.
you know, and then my website's in my bio on Instagram as well, so
Perfect.
they can find it there.
Well, we love you. Thank you so much
You
for
are
joining us.
the best, Annell. We love you so much. You guys, I hope you feel inspired. Go touch grass. Go touch grass.
Grass.
Go write something in a journal. Go make music. And we will see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the For the Makers podcast. To find out more about Seated Productions, you can visit our website at www.seatedproductions.com and follow us on Instagram at seated.productions. And if you love what we do and want to support us, you can make a tax-deductible donation by visiting our website or by following the link in our podcast description. Until next time, listen well and tell stories.